Madagascar. When we looked at it from space, we saw a spot, a massive dark circle, almost perfectly round, over 13 kilometers in diameter, and big enough that roads are diverted on either side of it.
When satellites first captured strange images deep within Madagascar, no one imagined they were looking at a mystery hidden in plain sight. What appeared to be a massive crater ringed by towering walls was strange enough. But at its very core, something even more astonishing emerged. A secret village no one had ever recorded. No one was supposed to see.
Looking at it from the side, we could see it was a mountain. And if you zoomed all the way in, you could see a village. It looked like it could have been there for generations, but if you looked backward through time, it gets smaller. And before 2008, there was no one there at all.
But how could an entire community exist in silence, invisible to history and maps alike? This is the untold story of Madagascar's hidden crater village. A perfect ring concealing a secret world. High above the rugged highlands of Madagascar, where green hills ripple into mist and valleys stretch endlessly toward the horizon, lies a feature that has baffled explorers, scientists, and storytellers alike. Etched into the earth, as if by the hand of some forgotten titan, is a perfect circle, an immense ring that spans an astonishing 13 kilometers across. Seen from the air, it is hauntingly symmetrical, almost too precise for nature, resembling a colossal scar or a cosmic fingerprint pressed into the island's skin. From above, the circle appears like a fortress of stone, enclosing a world entirely separated from its surroundings. Its towering walls rise like guardians, as though holding back secrets the land was never meant to share. Around its rim, narrow dirt roads and winding tracks skirt carefully along the edge, hugging the boundary with an almost deliberate caution. It is as if travelers sensed, instinctively, that crossing into its hollow might disturb forces older than memory. For generations, the crater's vast basin remained untouched, silent, and unexplored, an ancient wound carved by fire and time. For years, the interior appeared lifeless. Pilots flying overhead described it as an empty hollow, a depression carved deep into Madagascar's heart. Maps showed it as little more than a barren ring. Nothing suggested that life stirred within its stony embrace. It was a place forgotten, ignored, and left to the slow erosion of wind, rain, and the passing of centuries. Then, in 2008, everything changed. Satellite imagery, cold, clinical eyes orbiting far above the Earth, captured something so startling that experts struggled to believe it. Inside the crater's heart, where nothing had existed the year before, signs of life appeared. Fields patterned the basin floor like green patchwork. Houses, clustered together in small groups, and winding footpaths traced routes between them. A village had materialized where once there was only silence. The revelation shocked those who studied the region. How could such a transformation happen so quickly? How could an entire community of families build homes, clear fields, and establish a settlement without drawing the world's attention? No official records existed of its founding. No government reports spoke of resettlement. No aid organization listed it among its projects. On paper, it was as though the village did not exist. Yet there it was, clear as day, nestled deep inside the massive ring like a pearl hidden within a stone. The questions multiplied. Why here, of all places? The land was fertile, yes, with soil rich from a volcanic past, and streams fed by hidden springs. But the walls of the crater also meant isolation, difficult access, long climbs, and no simple route to trade or travel. What compelled people to choose this unlikely sanctuary? And why at this particular moment in time? The riddle was at once simple and profound. In the space of a year, a scar on the earth had become a cradle of life. A void had filled with voices, footsteps, and smoke rising from cooking fires. A perfect ring revealed a secret world where life unexpectedly flourishes within. But how did an entire community suddenly appear in a crater that was empty just a year before? And what drew families to settle in such a hidden, isolated, and seemingly unreachable place? Now, let's uncover the answers. A village that shouldn't exist. The first whispers of something extraordinary came from geoscientist Indivo Cecilia Mosi. In 2007, she ventured into the rugged highlands of Madagascar to meticulously map the Ambohibe crater, a vast circular formation hidden within the island's sweeping landscapes. Her observations painted a picture both beautiful and bewildering. The soil was dark, fertile, and contaminated with nutrients left behind by ancient volcanic activity. Underground springs bubbled quietly beneath the surface, promising a steady supply of water, while the crater's steep walls created a natural sanctuary, sheltered from the harsh winds and encroaching dangers of the outside world. On paper and in theory, this land had everything a community could ever need to thrive. Yet, when Mosi set foot inside, she found nothing. No signs of life, no human footprints, no smoke curling from chimneys, no animals grazing in the meadows. It was a blank canvas, empty, silent, and untouched. In just a single year, the emptiness of the crater seemed to vanish as if overnight. Families appeared as though summoned by fate, shaping fertile plots of land into productive farms. Tiny homes rose along winding paths, and the first hesitant footpaths quickly grew into well-worn trails that connected the settlement like veins of life. Gardens were carefully tilled, animals settled into pens, and the steady rhythms of daily existence began to hum in harmony with the crater's quiet, ancient pulse. It was as if an unseen hand had guided these settlers to this hidden sanctuary. In what seemed like a single breath of time, an entire village had emerged, where before there had been only silence, transforming the crater from a barren hollow horse into a thriving world of life, hope, and resilience. For scientists and observers, the transformation of the land itself was unsurprising. The richness of the volcanic soil, the sheltering walls, and the life-giving waters offered perfect conditions for agriculture and human habitation. But the sudden appearance of the villagers? That was something entirely different. There were no records, no permits, no government documents to explain how or why people had chosen this hidden crater. The settlement defied all conventional understanding of migration, urban planning, and human behavior. How could a thriving community emerge so swiftly in such an isolated and previously uninhabited place? Who were these people, and what had drawn them to this perfect circle of Earth? The puzzle was clear. Numbers, maps, and reports could only take one so far. To uncover the truth, one would have to leave behind spreadsheets, satellite images, and conjecture. Someone would need to descend into the crater, step carefully across its fertile soil, speak to the people living there, and witness the settlement firsthand. Only by experiencing the village from the inside could the full story be told, its origins, its struggles, and the remarkable resilience of a community that had risen seemingly from nothing, hidden in plain sight. The Ambohibe crater became a mysterious place of land, water, and human effort. But who exactly are those living in this place, and how did they get to this location? Now, let's delve into how Loy's expedition uncovers Madagascar's hidden crater village and brave settlers. Journey into the heart of mystery. Unraveling the secrets of Madagascar's hidden crater fell to Loy, a determined Malagasy filmmaker, and her fearless team. Leaving behind the lively streets of Antananarivo, they plunged into an arduous expedition that would test every ounce of their endurance, patience, and courage. The journey was relentless. Dirt roads twisted and buckled beneath the scorching sun, rivers swollen from recent rains forced them to wade carefully and improvise crossings, and jagged mountain trails demanded strength, balance, and constant vigilance. Each step reminded them they were venturing into uncharted territory, a realm where modern maps offered little guidance and nature's unpredictability ruled with absolute authority. This was not mere exploration. It was a daring passage into a world both ancient and mysterious, where every moment held discovery and danger alike. Days of grueling travel passed, each step shadowed by exhaustion and doubt, testing the limits of the team's resolve. Yet, as if the land itself had waited for their arrival, the towering walls of the crater finally emerged, steep, awe-inspiring, and majestic. Nestled at its base was a sight that no satellite image or map could ever fully reveal. Dozens of simple homes, clustered in quiet harmony with the rocky terrain, as though they had grown directly from the stones themselves. The village seemed suspended in time, a hidden world carved into the scar of ancient earth, where human life and nature coexisted in a delicate, enduring balance. When the team finally arrived, they were met not with welcome, but with wary silence. The villagers, eyes sharp and guarded, watched every movement, their suspicion palpable. Rumors fluttered through the community like restless shadows. Perhaps these strangers were government spies, or agents with hidden intentions. Each footstep felt heavy, weighed down by unspoken questions and fragile trust. The air hummed with tension, curiosity, and caution, stretching every moment into what seemed like an eternity. Hours passed slowly, patience fraying, until at last a village elder, respected, calm, and wise, emerged from the gathered crowd. With deliberate words and careful gestures, he began to reveal the story the village had long kept hidden. Through careful conversation and attentive listening, the villagers' story slowly unfolded. These were not permanent residents born within the crater. They were Betsileo people, migrants who had embarked on a monumental journey of over 380 kilometers. Driven by necessity and hope, they had sought fertile soil, reliable water sources, and the freedom to build a life in a place of their choosing. In the heart of the Ambohibi crater, they had found exactly what they sought: rich, cultivable land surrounded by abundant water, shielded from the harshness of the outside world. Here, in this secluded sanctuary, they could plant their crops, raise their families, and establish a new community. With reverence for their new home, the settlers named it Anosibi Ambohibi, the Big Island, a tribute to both the land's vast potential and the courage it took to claim it. What had once been an empty scar on Madagascar's landscape was now alive with human endeavor, ingenuity, and resilience. Loy's journey revealed a hidden village, uncovering stories of migration, survival, and human resilience against nature's challenges. But could anyone have found it online before their expedition? Now, let's explore a village that seemed determined to vanish from the digital world: the digital mirage. Before anyone could set foot inside the Ambohibi crater, the team of researchers turned to the one place the modern world promised could hold answers: the internet. They imagined that with satellite images, social media, and digital maps, they might unravel the secrets of this hidden village without ever leaving their desks. Yet what they encountered was a digital maze that seemed designed to mislead. Instead of clarity, the web offered only confusion, contradictions, and dead ends that threatened to make the village disappear entirely from sight. Satellite imagery, normally a reliable tool for mapping the unknown, proved frustratingly deceptive. What should have been clear roads and recognizable structures appeared as phantom schools, ghostly butcher shops, and patterns that made no sense on closer inspection. Every attempt to locate the village through these images felt like chasing shadows across a hall of mirrors. Even the smallest clue seemed to vanish the moment it was scrutinized. The more the team explored, the more elusive the settlement became. Social media, another supposed window into the world, provided no help. Instead of posts documenting life in the crater, they found strange distractions, obscure anime references, posts in Cyrillic and Russian script, and random mentions that had no connection to the location. Each thread seemed to dissolve into nonsense, guiding the team further away from the truth rather than toward it. The digital world, it seemed, had no record of this community, not because it was unimportant, but because it had existed in deliberate silence, shielded by its remoteness and obscurity. Even the organizations that might have known something about the crater offered no answers. Aid agencies, NGOs, and local authorities remained frustratingly silent, leaving official reports and public records empty of any mention. It was as if the village had deliberately vanished from every accessible channel, hiding in plain sight. Satellite maps, social media, and online databases provided only confusion, dead ends, and ghostly traces. Yet, for those willing to go beyond the digital veil, a faint whisper hinted at the truth. A hidden settlement quietly thriving, invisible to the world, waiting for someone brave enough to discover it firsthand. The more the researchers tried to find shortcuts through technology, the clearer it became. This was not a mystery that could be solved online. No satellite image, no social media post, no app update could reveal the lives, paths, and homes hidden within the crater. The village seemed to resist discovery, as if nature itself had protected it from the prying eyes of the world, demanding that anyone curious enough to know would have to earn it. The only way to uncover the truth was to leave behind the comfort of digital speculation and venture into the crater itself. It required physical effort, courage, and patience. The team would have to walk long distances, climb treacherous paths, and endure unpredictable weather. Every step brought them closer to understanding a world that had carefully avoided detection for decades. No live stream, no downloadable data, no shortcut through the internet could substitute for the tactile human experience of standing inside the crater, seeing the homes, meeting the people, and hearing their story firsthand. In the end, the secrets of Ambohaibi village could only be uncovered on the ground through effort, courage, and the determination to face the unknown. But how do the villagers survive in this remote land, and what challenges confront them every day? Let's find out. A hidden orchard in the crater. Hidden within the vast crater of Ambohaibi lies a community that has only recently taken root, yet its story already carries the weight of generations. The families who settled here just a few years ago speak with quiet confidence about their future. For them, this is not merely a temporary refuge. It is a promise of permanence. They believe the land is so fertile and the water so abundant that their children, and even their grandchildren, will one day thrive in the very same soil. What makes this crater village extraordinary is not only its unusual location, but the natural gifts it offers. The village is encircled by water, a rare blessing in a country where scarcity often defines survival. Springs and streams flow in from an open valley that crowns the mountain above, cascading downward to fill the basin. This water, pure and steady, provides life not only for the people, but also for their crops, their animals, and the fragile ecosystem they depend on. Equally important is the soil itself. Dark, fertile, and rich with minerals left behind by ancient volcanic eruptions. It has the power to transform barren land into fields of green. To the settlers, this was the greatest treasure of all. They had traveled far in search of space, a place where families could spread out, plant crops, and live without the crushing pressure of overcrowding. Inside the crater, they found exactly that. Wide, open land, waiting to be shaped into orchards and farms. Today, those orchards stand as the clearest sign of the villagers' determination. Row after row of citrus trees stretch across the crater floor, their branches heavy with lemons and oranges. These fruits are not grown just for survival. They are cash crops, meant to be carried to nearby towns and sold in markets. Each harvest represents both hope and hard labor. The income from these citrus groves pays for tools, clothing, and other essentials, tying the village's survival to the rhythm of the trees. Yet, even in this place of promise, challenges press hard against daily life. The greatest of these is isolation. To carry their baskets of fruit to market, villagers must travel down dangerous, twisting paths that cut across the crater's steep walls. What looks like a short distance on a map becomes a grueling journey in reality, one that tests both strength and patience. And when they finally reach the outside world, they are met with another obstacle: Madagascar's broken road system. The roads are few, often nothing more than rugged dirt tracks. During the rainy season, many vanish under mud, making them impassable. Trucks and carts struggle to climb the slippery slopes, and more than once, crops have spoiled before ever reaching the stalls. For the villagers, this is a cruel irony. They live in a land overflowing with food and water, yet they struggle to connect that abundance with the markets that could transform their efforts into true prosperity. Still, resilience defines this hidden community. They continue planting, harvesting, and climbing the difficult trails, driven by faith in the crater's promise. For them, Embo-Hibe is not simply a settlement. It is a sanctuary, a gift of earth and water, and a hope that future generations will one day conquer the obstacles of isolation to fully enjoy the riches their ancestors discovered in the heart of a volcano. Embo-Hibe's hidden crater is alive with fertile land, flowing water, and a resilience that promises to shape generations. But before people settled here, how did this remote place form, and how long had it existed? Now, let's uncover how Madagascar's ancient Embo-Hibe crater rose from violent volcanic fury to become a hidden sanctuary. The living memory of fire. Long before humans roamed the earth, long before Madagascar took shape as the island we know today, a dramatic story of fire, stone, and upheaval was unfolding. The Embo-Hibe Massif is far more than a simple geological formation. It is a living monument to the Earth's ancient violence. Roughly 90 million years ago, Madagascar was fused with what would later become India, forming part of a vast, unbroken landmass. Then, in a cataclysm of volcanic fire and tectonic force, the continents tore apart. The ground heaved, molten rivers of lava raged across the surface, and in the midst of this fury, a colossal crater emerged. A perfect circular scar carved by the raw, unrelenting power of nature. Its steep walls, shaped by eruptions long past, stand as silent witnesses to that primordial chaos, while the basin below was molded not by human hands, but by the slow, patient shifts of colliding continents. Over millennia, this raw crater evolved. Wind and rain gradually wore down the jagged edges, while eroded soil settled in the hollow below, bringing fertility to the once barren basin. Slowly, plants began to take root, painting the crater floor in shades of green and gold. Streams sprang forth from hidden underground reservoirs, giving life to the land, while birds, insects, and small mammals returned to inhabit this newly formed ecosystem. What had begun as destruction became, against all odds, a sanctuary of life, a hidden paradise carved from the echoes of ancient turmoil. By the late 19th century, colonial explorers and mapmakers had begun noticing the extraordinary shape of the Ambohibe crater. Maps from 1899 recorded its flowing streams, rich, fertile soil, and thick, vibrant vegetation, yet few could grasp the full importance of this hidden basin. No one could have imagined that centuries later, this ancient hollow, once carved by violent eruptions and tectonic upheaval, would become home to a thriving community. Families would settle here, cultivating the land, building homes, and living in harmony with a place forged by fire. A remarkable union of human resilience and Earth's enduring power. Today, the Ambohibe crater is home to villagers who tend farms, orchards, and livestock, relying on the fertile soil and abundant water left behind by volcanic activity. Most of these residents arrived within the last 2 decades, migrating in search of space, fresh water, and productive land. Unaware of the dramatic geological history beneath their feet, they simply call it home, a place of sustenance, opportunity, and life. Yet every stream they drink from, every leaf they touch, and every furrow they plow tells the story of Earth's fiery past. The Ambohibe Massif reminds us that destruction and creation are intimately linked. Forces that once tore the land apart have, over countless years, laid the groundwork for fertility and human survival. The crater is not merely a hollow in the earth, it is the patient artwork of time, where cataclysm has given way to life, and where humans unknowingly dwell atop the echoes of a volcanic past. In its soil, its waters, and its growing community, the crater whispers a powerful truth. Even the harshest forces of nature can, in time, become the cradle of life. From fiery beginnings to a fertile haven, Ambohibe has quietly sustained life for millions of years. But could another place like this exist on Earth? If so, what sets Ambohibe apart from its counterparts? Now, let's unravel how Ambohibe stands apart in a world full of geological wonders. Beyond Madagascar, Ambohibe is far from the only ring-shaped formation on our planet, yet it is undoubtedly one of the most extraordinary. Thousands of kilometers away, across deserts and continents, sits the Richat structure in Mauritania, famously known as the Eye of the Sahara. Seen from space, it appears as a massive, near-perfect circle, a formation so immense that the human eye can scarcely grasp its scale. For centuries, myths and legends have swirled around it. Some whispered it was Atlantis, lost and waiting beneath the sands. Others saw it as a mysterious mark left by forces beyond human understanding. Scientists, however, have unraveled the story. Both the Richat structure and Madagascar's Ambohibe crater are geological relics, echoes of Earth's violent past when continents tore themselves apart in monumental upheavals. Yet here, the comparison breaks down. The Richat structure, the Eye of the Sahara, stretches vast and silent, a fossilized echo of Earth's violent past. It tells of eruptions, shifting continents, and the slow, relentless work of erosion, but it tells no story of life. No farms carve its soil, no streams nourish plants or animals, and no humans dare settle within its empty embrace. Magnificent and awe-inspiring, it stands as a frozen monument, a place untouched and unyielding, reminding the world of nature's raw, impersonal power, beautiful but lifeless, and forever distant from the vibrant cradle of Ambohibe. Ambohibe, by contrast, is a living, breathing testament to resilience, both geological and human. Its walls, once violently carved by eruptions and the shifting forces of ancient continents, now cradle fertile soil. Its hidden waters nourish plants, livestock, and families who call the crater their home. Within this secluded circle, humans have turned history's scar into a thriving settlement, planting lemon and orange orchards, tending to fields, and creating a community entirely apart from the rest of Madagascar. It is a place where the raw artistry of nature meets the determination of humanity, a fusion rarely witnessed anywhere else on Earth. In the heart of Ambohibe, the drama of Earth's ancient forces meets the triumph of human survival. Millions of years ago, violent geological upheavals tore continents apart, leaving behind scars of stone and barren land. Yet, through time, rain, wind, and erosion softened these harsh edges, turning the crater into fertile soil, abundant with water and life. Remarkably, humans discovered this hidden sanctuary, migrating across long distances, planting crops, and building homes. They reshaped a desolate, silent relic into a thriving village, a testament to resilience, creativity, and hope. A living story where nature's fury becomes humanity's opportunity. In essence, Ambohibe is both a natural wonder and a human triumph. It reminds us that even the harshest, most isolated places on Earth can be transformed when life finds a way. Unlike its distant cousin, the Eye of the Sahara, which lies lifeless under the desert sun, Ambohibe hums with activity, growth, and the quiet persistence of those who dared to call it home. It is a vivid illustration that geology alone does not tell the full story. Humans complete it. In this hidden crater, the mysteries of the Earth and the resilience of humanity collide, creating a narrative richer than any legend of lost cities, more inspiring than any myth of sunken continents, and far more astonishing than maps alone could ever reveal. While similar craters remain empty, Ambohibe thrives. But how does this crater defy nature itself? Now, let's explore Madagascar's hidden crater, where the planet's ancient fury meets human determination. The living paradox of Ambohibe. High above Madagascar's sprawling highlands lies the Ambohibe crater, a place that is far more than a simple geological formation. To the untrained eye, it might seem like a dormant scar etched into the Earth's surface, a silent witness to volcanic fury from millions of years ago. Yet within its vast 13-kilometer-wide circle, a far more intricate story unfolds, one that blends the raw violence of Earth's past with the quiet, determined heartbeat of human life. Here, science tells part of the tale, but the present, the living village, and the people who inhabit it remain something that cannot be fully explained by maps, satellite images, or textbooks. Yet the origins of Ambohibe are written in fire and rock. Millions of years ago, Madagascar tore itself from India in a colossal upheaval of volcanic activity. Lava tore through the crust, creating mountains and valleys, leaving behind massive cavities in the Earth's surface. Over time, erosion softened the jagged edges. Rainfall nourished the soil, and vegetation slowly began to take root. In this way, a barren scar transformed into a cradle of life, a fertile, water-rich sanctuary ready to sustain life, both animal and human. The crater's walls, once a symbol of geological violence, now serve as protective boundaries, shielding its interior from the surrounding world. Yet what makes Ambohibi truly extraordinary is not its geological history, nor even its breathtaking aerial symmetry, but the people who call it home. Hidden away for centuries, this crater remained empty until the early 20s, a secret known only to the land and the occasional geoscientist. Then, seemingly overnight, settlers arrived, families traveling hundreds of kilometers, drawn by the promise of fertile soil, abundant water, and space to build a future. Here, life is simple yet demanding. Citrus orchards, homes, and livestock coexist with treacherous mountain trails and isolation from roads, schools, and hospitals. The villagers' resilience is a testament to human determination, thriving where maps show only emptiness and the world sees nothing but inaccessibility. Ambohibi is a place where myth and science intersect. Its circular perfection evokes distant legends, drawing comparisons to the Eye of the Sahara and fueling whispers of Atlantis-like mysteries. Its geological scars speak of violent continental shifts, ancient fires, and the raw power of Earth's forces. And yet, within this paradox, humanity has answered. People have cultivated the land, built homes, and created a thriving community from a place that seemed uninhabitable. Life continues, persistent and adaptive, as if the crater itself conspired to teach a lesson. Survival, ingenuity, and willpower can flourish even in the shadows of nature's most extreme events. Ultimately, Ambohibi is more than a hidden crater. It is a living paradox, a sanctuary forged by fire and reshaped by time. It is a monument to Earth's history, a laboratory for scientists, and a haven for families determined to make a life against the odds. Here, myth whispers, geology speaks, and humanity writes its own story, one of resilience, discovery, and the unyielding power to adapt in the face of isolation. To witness Ambohibi is to see a place where the past and present collide, where mystery and reality coexist, and where a hidden crater village finally emerges as a testament to the extraordinary intersection of nature and human will. So, what do you think about Madagascar's hidden crater village that remained unseen until now? Have you visited any of these destinations before? We would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.